The launch of the 2014 Corvette Stingray, the C7 edition of the 60-year-old American sports car icon, is being covered everywhere, in the press and on the internet, and even here on Drive. So I don't need to retrace all the obvious car facts out there. And at the Corvette press events, too many of my questions were being answered with the official, "I can't talk about that now," with a knowing smile, but still no factual benefit to today's discussion, which is about Corvette C7 and racing. I did get one clear message from the official C7 spew. Corvette wants this car to be taken seriously. They want you car boys and girls to cast away your negative thinking about crude technology and build quality, and about Corvetters being 58-year-old mullet-haired plumbers from Long Island. You know, some GM exec actually used the successful plumber analogy in a press release. And I swear to God, I had that plumber line in a marketing deck I presented to Chevy way back in 2009. So, copyright infringement. Point is, Corvette, seriously? Corvette Racing, a necessity. To tell the C7 story so you non-Corvette holy water drinkers will take this new Corvette seriously. But at the press launch, except for a few cross-references to the racing-inspired airflow, the only other Corvette to racing connection at the Sunday night launch party was Corvette racing legend Ron Fellows, and I found him over at the food table. I fear he was there only because NHL hockey hadn't restarted. Too much of a Canadian stereotype joke? Okay, he was there only because he heard that only the Corvette party had poutine. And the hors d'oeuvre tray was full of Canadian bacon on a Tim Horton maple syrup donut. Have I gone too far? When we come back, Corvette C7, because race car. Let's talk Corvette C7 and racing, because the car needs to establish credibility with non-Corvette lovers, younger buyers, and God knows how many sports car elitists. And racing may be the best way. Corvette C7 was the talk of the auto show. And the talk was all about making the C7 better than ever before in every aspect: design, engineering, ergonomics, performance. And it sounds like a race car could help with all that to me. And Corvette Racing is part of the story. There's a collaboration between GM Design, GM Engineering, and the Pratt & Miller techies that run Corvette Racing. And we've been down this road before with the ZR1 and this Corvette poster connecting race car tech to road car tech. This new Corvette continues this interconnection story, but so far all I've taken away is C7 has a racing forward tilted radiator position, the hood air extractor, and those rear fender vents. And for, I guess, sales reasons, because C7 is still 6 to 7 months away from being out for sale, Corvette will race the C6R in 2013, and here it is. C7R is not until 2014, but it is coming. Don't let me confuse you. Here are a few unofficial renderings of the C7R already out on the internet, and they all kind of look cool. But let's discuss right now a few key points about C7 and racing, to set you viewers off on a flurry of comments to add your thoughts, knowledge, and opinion to what we're about to say regarding the because race car Corvette C7 storyline. And let's start with the Stingray name. First used here, the 1959 Corvette race car. So now they've connected racing to the base C7. And why did they call the base car Stingray? Because that's what they wanted people to buy, not, hey, I just bought the base car. And the Stingray name, does that make it sound younger and cooler still? Now let's talk design. I suggested earlier that there's a lot of race car function and aero bits in this. But there's also a lot of design lineage, busy lines going on here. And I'm being told they did that to make the car look younger and more international. But why is the Corvette international? Why does it need to be international? Global people like the Corvette when it shows up at Le Mans because it is bold, loud, and American. An international Corvette, doesn't that drift? Engineering should be an obvious connection to racing and having racing tell the story, because the Corvette C7 engineering is all about weight and the technology in there. And the engine, which finally gets direct injection for the road car, which gives it direct injection on the race car. And as you heard in the last Drive show about Corvette, Road Testament, the Corvette engineers spent a bit too much time talking about fuel efficiency. But you know what? That's a racing story too. Because how did Corvette win Le Mans? Not just raw speed, fuel efficiency. And then there's ergonomics. Big deal being made about the interior of the C7. Well, seating matters, obviously. But with the C7, you feel more plugged in. And your position is good for vision outside the car as well. And then there's the video dash. And in racing, data's good. That'll be good here. Another story that can be told through Corvette Racing. And then finally, performance. This Corvette is positioned to be the best Corvette base car performer ever. Base, did I say base? Stingray. But it's all about the driving experience. And that's the story that obviously can be told through race car dynamics. And here's another racing connection. Corvette Racing uses Michelin tires, and this road car is on Michelin this year moving forward. So what am I missing? Racing to make the C7 to get a different audience, to get credibility. Or nothing will ever change the minds of the diehard anti-Corvette group. So in closing, a couple of comments. In all of Corvette's history, Corvette's best ever sales year was 54,000, I think in 1979. And now we're selling less than 12,000 annually. Sales average year was about 30,000. And God knows the demographics and psychographics of the Corvette buyer are not ideal. So there's room for improvement, and C7 has to do the job. But in Detroit at the North American International Auto Show, I felt two things were missing from this and most American auto shows. Not enough sex or sexy, except for VW and their table dancing disco girls. The other booth professionals, by the way, might as well have been office workers at an accounting firm. And racing, again, not enough. Well, Ferrari said FU to the 5-year-old Red Bull F1 Infiniti show car by displaying Alonso's current 2012 F1 race car. But the show itself could have had more racing. Sex and racing, to amp up the buzz, to get people excited, to connect with an audience from today that is active, alive, and in touch with a social vibe. And that's good for auto shows, and it's good for Corvette. So think about it when you think about Corvette C7 and how racing would help sell C7 to an audience bigger than just the current Corvette disciples and a demographic that's age dead. Racing, to give Corvette, the car, its credibility in the US and internationally. Remember Viper? They launched themselves with its race car. Corvette did not, I'm just saying. So now what are you guys thinking? Does Corvette need to use racing to establish its credibility, or can C7 stand on its own and change the mind of today's car fan? Thanks for listening. Tell me what you think.